Well, I'd like to welcome first, we have General K.S. Brar. He was the commander, he was in charge of Operation Blue Star. And he joins us from Mumbai, I think. Welcome. I have Tom Watson, he's a Labour MP, and he's joining us from London. Mr. Watson, thanks for joining us. With me in the studio is Brigadier retired Israr Rahim Khan. He was commanding officer of the 10 Guards Battalion in Operation Blue Star. Is with me in the studio. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, senior leader of the BJP, is with me in the studio. G. Patsati, former High Commissioner to Pakistan, was at that point of time Consul General in Karachi. He has historical facts on this.
To look this
I hope
way
we
or
will
that
share
way.
them today. Thank you for joining us. Manjeet Singh GK, President of the Delhi Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, live from our studios in Delhi as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. The Congress Party was supposed to be represented, but the Congress Party has chosen to pull out its representative at the last minute, though I think it will be difficult to avoid answers on this subject. What do you think, Subramaniam Swamy?
Of course. I mean, they have to answer questions.
What is the basic thing they have to answer?
Well, first of all, there are many aspects of the Operation Blue Star which have not come out in the public domain. And since now there's more than 30 years, almost 30 years. First of all, at that time, the General Officer in Command, S.K. Sinha, had very explicitly opposed this Operation Blue Star. He had in fact said this is not last resort, there are 1,000 other ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And Britain was the country which was giving sanctuary to the Khalistanis.
Yeah.
The headquarters of the Khalistan was in London.
Yeah.
Now you go and ask that country how you should conduct the operations there. It's a shocking indication of the mentality. I think this problem seems to be perhaps with the Nehru family. They consulted on Kashmir, Edwina Mountbatten, now the British on this Operation Blue Star. We need a full-fledged probe. We want the entire documents to...
Yeah, you want an investigation into
Absolutely.
Okay, General Brar, let's have an investigation into this, says Subramaniam Swamy. Investigate it. You were the man in charge of Operation Blue Star, along with Brigadier retired Israr Rahim Khan here today. Let's have an investigation. You'd agree? Let's open up the files. Let's find out the extent to which the British were involved. General.
Sure, you're most welcome to open up any number of files. I can emphatically tell you that there was no advice rendered and no involvement of the British government as far as Operation Blue Star is concerned. Perhaps, as is being mentioned on the media, some advisor had come 2 or 3 months earlier. Well, Operation Blue Star was not in the offing at that time. Operation Blue Star really started on the 1st of June. So whatever advice was given, if any was given, to the Prime Minister of India, well, either it was heeded or it was rejected.
So why, what is the business? Subramaniam Swamy, you buy that line, please. One sec. Subramaniam Swamy, you buy that line. What is the business of the British to poke their nose into our affairs, and why were we allowing them in?
Exactly. The issue is, this is a country which has ruled your country for 200 years in a most brutal way, extract the resources, try to divide our people, and now you're asking them for advice after they're having a headquarters of the Khalistan in London. I can't understand what kind of mentality it is. And secondly, it is not June 1 that you decided to hold Operation Blue Star. I myself at that time was very much involved. I went many times to Punjab. Gyani Jail Singh asked me to speak to Mrs. Gandhi as early as February. He said that you please go and tell her that this is going to have a boomerang effect on her. I myself told Mrs. Gandhi at that time. So the whole thing was up in the air at that time. It was going to be done. Something was going to be done because Bhindranwale went out of control.
Well, the fact is, Brigadier, I don't want to dispute what you did. I'm not questioning your valor, the risks you and your men took and the sacrifices they made. My question is simply this: why were the British allowed in? How is it that you did not know? Because you have consistently denied it. Now, why should the British government lie to us? And that also on record. Yes, sir, please. Yes, please, sir.
You see, this word, Blue Star, this code word, was given to the operation when the army was told to plan for it. And that was as late as 30th of May, the 5th of June. So there were 5 days in which this code word was given.
There was no... The fact is military assistance was sought advice was given?
No, but between the two governments, if the intelligence agencies share some information or intelligence, I can tell you for sure that it was not even shared with the army.
So why did the UK
It was
provide?
no good for the army to have. Army was unaware of this operation, and the journalist there, you ask him, he was off on a holiday for 1 month's leave to Philippines. On the 29th, he was on his way to Delhi airport from Meerut, where he was stationed.
Sir,
and he was pulled out of there to lead this operation, which was not even conceived at that time.
So you accept today, you and General Brar accept that it is possible that advice was given. The fact is, you see, as I've begun and prefaced
the two
this,
governments politically, what they share is none of army's business.
Surely none of the business,
and that was not shared certainly with the army.
It is the country's
and the
business.
journal will bear me out.
But it is the country's business, isn't it?
No, we were not allies of the British. What is the meaning of sharing information with some other country? Will we share information with Pakistan whether what we should do in Operation Blue Star? Obviously not.
Well, Mr. Patsati has justified it in his last appearance.
May I come in, Arnab?
Let me be very, very clear.
Arnab, may I come in for a minute?
In B. Raman's book.
As Brigadier Israr Khan has just told you, Operation Blue Star was only begun on the 1st of June. So if any advice was given before that, it would have been for some other operation. They could have been planning a different operation. It is possible that 3 months earlier, before Bhindranwale had moved into the Akal Takht, and he was still living in the outskirts of the Golden Temple, this operation could have been planned. But it had nothing to do with Blue Star.
Sir, the question is very simple. You are saying as the man in charge of Blue Star and Brigadier Israr Khan with you, you are saying we didn't know, army did not know. My question is, I did not know that our government, my government, went to the British and said, we want your military intelligence advisors to travel to India, and that is between 8th and 17th of February to advise the Indian intelligence services and special groups on the contingency plans that they were drawing up for the operations against those who were inside the temple complex, including a ground reconnaissance of the site. Sir, I think that's gross interference in India's internal affairs. I have no other word to describe it. Let's go across to London. I'm coming to you, Mr. Patsati. Tom Watson, Labour MP. You've heard the reactions here from the British Army officer, Indian Army officers who say we did not know, Mr. Watson. What was the extent of this advice, and did it come specifically on a request from the Indian government?
Well, the Foreign Secretary has today given a statement where he said it was a request from the Indian government that advice was given, that the advice included some form of advice on an actual attack on the temple, although the advice was only do this as a last resort. Now, I don't want to get into a row about whether the British should be there or not. If you ask my opinion, it was a mistake that we were asked. It was a mistake that then government accepted it. And the other thing the Foreign Secretary admitted was it was a decision taken in secret by our Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary. They didn't get authorization from the Cabinet, let alone Parliament. And so we are left with more questions in the United Kingdom about why on earth we would involve ourselves in giving military advice to a nation as powerful as India on a subject so controversial.
Mr. Watson, I'm extremely sorry. I think I have a bad audio line there with you. But while I thank you, I'm going to recap the basic point he makes there. He says very clearly this was advice, Mr. Patsati, specifically on an attack on the Golden Temple. It's quite specific. It's not in thin air.
And the helicopter should be...
Let us analyze this coolly, and I'll just say my piece, and please let me finish it. Firstly, it is normal for our intelligence agencies to have direct link-ups with other intelligence agencies. Whatever Mr. Swami may say, British blah blah, we have still continuing links with the intelligence agencies of Britain. We still have... Do you know, Mr.
This is the sense of patriotism that you have with everybody, and ask them...
What is your objection to what?
My objection to it is that I would assume a patriotic government would understand that
It
if a
continued in
country-
Mr. Vajpayee's time.
I don't
It
care
continued in
where
the
it
Janata
continue.
government.
Don't
No, let's be real.
You give me specific instances where the British are having Khalistan headquarters in London and you are asking them
All
for
right,
advice.
let me answer.
And they would be interested in dividing the Hindus and Sikhs
Let me answer.
without any doubt in my mind. The British have always played the role of dividing India.
I'm not being melodramatic. I'm
Are
giving
you
you
saying he
facts.
is?